Okay, so before we start, I would like you to imagine yourself 60 years from now. How do you see yourself? What things would be the most important for you? But don't tell me, keep it in your mind. I have to be sincere. Before presenting my idea, I thought about it with some of my professors, some of my colleagues, and even some random people I had met, because I was curious about their reaction. And well, most all of them made this face, which was the face telling me, "Girl, you're so naive. Don't you know how the world works?" I mean, I'm 20. I don't pretend to have experience, but I'm so committed to my idea, and I believe in it truly with all my heart, then I decided to give it a chance. And I was chosen. So this probably means that I am a dreamer, but not the only one. And here I am, standing on this red spot, perfectly aware that probably most of you would think the same, that I'm too naive to understand how the world works. But here's my story. When I was in high school, I decided to spend a year abroad in China. My Chinese host family did not speak any English. And all I could say in Chinese at the beginning was, 你好,你叫什么名字?今天是晴天, which means, "Hi, what's your name?" Today is sunny. That's it. And one day, I was feeling totally down and out. I was struggling with myself, wondering, why am I here? What am I doing? You know that feeling when you're really tired of everything? When you have such a bad day, the only things you want to do is to go home, to talk to someone familiar, to let your emotions flow. And I really needed that connection. Without speaking the same language, my Chinese host mom understood that need. So after dinner that day, she sat on my bed, took the English-Chinese dictionary and gave it to me, insisting I found the words to pour my heart out. It made me feel so much better. It made me feel happy. Because afterwards, it didn't really matter how bad my day was. I knew at the end I would be feeling at home. That was probably the first real connection I felt to that family, to that country. And it was the proof that we all share something in common simply by being humans. Our humanness is so powerful. It's actually the most powerful force we have. And it can overcome linguistic barriers, as in my case, or prejudice and discrimination based on gender, ethnicity, race, religion. And I believe our humanness should overcome money as well. The greatest and the most important revolutions often start very quietly, hidden in the shadows. Today, money is the measure of benefit in our society. But when countries pursue an increase in GDP in a lopsided manner, overriding social and environmental objectives, the result often has a negative impact on human well-being. What does this tell us then? That for our society, money and wealth are more important than how we feel, than our happiness. Now, I would like to ask you another question. If you had to pick one thing, what would you wish for your loved ones? A well-paid job for your daughter or son? I don't think so. Because what do we truly hope for our dearest is that no matter what happens, they will find a way to happiness, that they would live a life of purpose. And indeed, what is a country if not an aggregate of families, of loved ones? Because you see, what we do have in our pockets does not really have an intrinsic value. That piece of paper equals a certain amount of purchasing power simply because we believe so. Money is our own creation, and now it dominates us. It was supposed to be a means, and now it is a goal. What truly has value instead is how we live, what we do with our life, and how satisfied we are as human beings at the end of the day. If we all recognize happiness to be valuable, as I think we do, right? Then we should ask our governments to recognize its value accordingly. For a few minutes, I would like to take you to another world. A world in which our subjective well-being has the same weight as economic issues. Instead of ranking countries by GDP, they would be ranked according to happiness, in which, of course, GDP is a variable, but only 1 out of 6. The other being social support, healthy life expectancy, generosity, the freedom to make life choices, and trust. A world where people and their potential are the ultimate criteria for assessing the development of a country, not economic growth alone. Instead of being driven by economic ones, policies would then emphasize the importance of positive social connections in a motivating behavior that can bring both economic growth and happiness. Well, if you're still not convinced, here's something more scientific. Robert Waldinger, the director of the Harvard Studies on Adult Development, has done one of the longest and most complete studies on adult life ever conducted. He found that what makes us happy is not wealth or fame, as you were probably thinking, but social connections. People who are more socially connected to family, to friends, or to the community in general, they not only were happier, they were physically healthier, and they lived longer than people who were less well connected. In this other word, then, improving the quality of life by strengthening social ties will become the essential goal of policy making. A word like this is possible, and to some extent, the revolution has already started. In 2011, the United Nations passed the resolution placing happiness on the global development agenda. Bhutan, for example, uses the Gross National Happiness Index, and many other Western European countries are in top positions in the happiness ranking. Denmark is first, followed by Switzerland, Iceland, and Norway. Now, you're probably wondering why Denmark is first. The Danish government provided resources for a total of $1 million to support operation which would strengthen and promote social capital. The empirical findings indicate that social capital has a profound impact in many different areas of human life and development. It affects the provision of services, as well as influencing the expansion of private enterprises. It improves the management of common resources, and it can even help in the promotion of education. But most importantly, a large amount of social capital can prevent conflict and even compensate for a deficient state. Imagine if all governments would invest in social capital too, emphasizing human capabilities such as cooperation and benevolence. GDP measures neither our wit nor our courage, neither our wisdom nor our learning, neither our compassion nor our devotion to our country. It measures everything, in short, except that which makes life worthwhile. These were the words of Robert F. Kennedy back in 1968. So, if the evidence is there, what's missing? A change is possible only if we, as a society, contemplate the real possibility of this change to materialize. We must change our mindset and pursue this goal not only for ourselves, but for the happiness of our children and for the happiness of future generations. We, as a social unit, must make our voice heard to create a link in between these ideas and their application. Now, remember my first question. How do you see yourself in 60 years? Have you changed your mind? Hope by now the answer is simply that you see yourself happy. Because economic issues do matter, of course. But we should rediscover and cherish our human spirit, our happiness. If you want to join me in this revolution, I can assure you we can evolve the whole world to the next level. Surely a happier one. Because happiness is just an idea today, but it can be the reality tomorrow. Thank you very much.